Hey there, I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate.
And today we're taking a look at Lady's Choice by Jon Chambers.
Lady's Choice is a card game for 2 to 6 gentlemen and ladies. In this game, you are going to be playing the role of one of those two. And in fact, everyone will play the lady at some point in the game. And when you are the lady, it is your job to figure out who the dandiest gentleman is, because that's the person you want to marry. But as is the case in real life, those slimy gentlemen aren't always as dandy as they might seem. They are liars.
Dandy.
Let's check out how this game plays. We'll come back and share our thoughts on this from a gamer and non-gamer's perspective. All right, so this is Lady's Choice on the table here. Let me show you guys how this game works. First, I do want to mention that everything you see here is prototype, and so the final artwork and components may look different when it is released from the Kickstarter. That being said, let me go ahead and get into this. And I also want to say that I have done a full how to play video on this game, and if you'd like to check that out, click the eye in the top right corner of your screen and it'll take you to that video. All right, so in this game, you are either going to be a gentleman or you are going to be the catch. And in a 6-player game, there are going to be 2 catches. And what's going to happen in this game is that the gentleman players are going to have attribute cards. And these attribute cards are going to tell them something about themselves, such as being terribly mistress, and you're going to draw extra cards at the end of the round. Or perhaps you own a small island country, and that is going to be worth dandy points at the end of the game. This card in particular is a wealth card, as it has some coins on it, and you only get to keep one of these cards at the end of the game, at the end of a round, and it's your highest one. All the other ones you don't get to keep. And there are going to be cards that give you positive dandy points, such as being a professional athlete, because who would not want to date a professional athlete? It's worth 17 dandy points. But there are going to be some cards that are going to have you lose points, such as being a thief. Nobody wants to date a thief. That's worth negative 11 dandy points. Anyhow, you are going to have a hand of cards dealt to you, and it's your job to boast about the good things about yourself. So when you boast, you're going to show everyone one card. And so you might say, hey, look at me. I am a jiu-jitsu master. And that's worth 18 dandy points. And then everybody will take note of that, especially the catches. They will be keeping an eye about what positive cards you might have in your hand. Now, the other thing you might do is you might change, and you might discard a card face down and then draw new cards from the deck. And so when other players are doing that, they're probably getting rid of their good cards. They might also be getting rid of cards that cancel other bad cards. You can see this cancels some other bad cards, and this is kind of a humorous game. You can see some of the things that are on here. This guy's had an epiphany, and so he doesn't do these things anymore. If you were the gentleman player, you might want to get rid of this card, because at the end of a round, whenever the catch chooses someone to marry, we'll come back to their actions here in a second, then the gentleman players are going to be ranked on their dandiness. And so a hand might look something like this right here, and you're going to add up all of your points, getting negative points for the red cards, positive points for the white cards, and again, you can only keep the highest one of your wealth cards. And again, cards cancel other cards out, like my silk top hat here cancels out my bald patch because it covers it up, so I don't have to score that card. But unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on which side you're on, my portly belly here is going to cancel my stunning abdominal muscles, so I'd have to get rid of that card. And I would add up these cards. And we're going to rank all of the gentleman players, and whoever the catch married, they're wanting to marry the dandiest gentleman, because when they marry the dandiest gentleman, they will not only give their love to that gentleman player, but that gentleman player is going to have to give back love to the catch. And for every gentleman player that was less dandy than him, he's going to have to give back one love to give card to the catch. And these are essentially victory points in the game. If instead the catch married somebody who was maybe the least dandy, then she's going to give all of her love to give, and that gentleman player is just going to keep the love, not going to send it back to the catch. And so that is minus, or you're missing out on getting points when that happens. There is true love cards, and that's going to be awarded if you marry the dandiest gentleman as the catch. You will get a true love card. And if you were the least dandy gentleman and somebody was, unwise and married you for some reason, then you will get a true love card. Now, on the catch's turn, back to them real quick, they have two choices as well. They're either going to court or marry. I already kind of explained how marry works. You are committed to that person and you are giving them all of your love. If you're going to court, then you get to peek at some of the cards in that gentleman player's hand, and depending on the number of gentleman players in the game determines how many cards you get to see. You just get to take a quick look at them and then put them back in that player's hand, and that gives you a little bit of knowledge as to who that person is, because you're courting them. You get to see a little bit about who they are. And that's the gist in this game. Everybody will get to play the catch at least once, and then that will be the end of the game. You'll add up all of your love to give cards that you've received, your true love cards. Whoever has the most is going to be the winner. There is a way to play this game with 2 players. It's a little bit different, and I will ask you guys to go check out that how to play video if you'd like to see the rules on that. There is a section towards the end of it, and it will teach you how to play that in a very short amount of time. But with that being said, let's go back up top and share our thoughts on Lady's Choice. And we're back, and now we're going to share our thoughts from a gamer and non-gamer's perspective. And real quick, didn't mention this at the beginning, but this is on Kickstarter, so make sure to check out that Kickstarter link down below in the description of this video. So Sam, first impressions, you see this. It's got 1890s London theme to it. All these attributes that are positive, negative. What were your first impressions when you saw this game?
What I wanted to know what dandy meant.
Not a word that's in your vocabulary,
No,
I'm assuming.
I mean, when we first met, it wasn't.
I wasn't dandy?
I mean, it's a card game, and so it was surprising, I think, how fun it was. We were able to play with some friends of ours, and it was a really enjoyable game. It's a lot. We had a good time playing it with just me and you, but it was a lot more enjoyable with 4 people.
Okay.
Getting to see people's responses to their cards. It was a much more interactive
very
game.
Humorous.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was a very funny game. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I was on, I had it in my mind how kind of there would be a story to play out with your character as you were playing the game, because you get these cards and it tells you what your attributes are, and you're kind of like, well, I'm a professional athlete, but I'm also...
I have one leg.
I also have one leg. Or, like I have a drinking problem. And it's kind of like you build this character and it slowly develops and turns into this mess.
Or you have all these medical problems, but then you're a doctor, so you can fix it.
Yeah, you get the medical miracle, right?
Yeah.
And it cancels out all those negative cards.
Yeah.
It's really fun and funny and just interesting how the round just starts to develop and turn into things, and the things you thought you knew, you turn out to be not so much.
Yeah.
It was a really unique, cool experience, and everybody at the table was laughing and talking about who they were. Of course, as you're playing the game, you're not supposed to be sharing these cards, but you want to tell people, you want to say to people, look at what I've got.
Because each round, it's really just the lady who doesn't need to see them. I mean, you're still not supposed to share it with each other, but when 3 of us were playing the gentleman, we would happen to be like, you got to see these 2 cards that I got.
You got to see this. That was a phrase we said so often while we were playing this game. And guys, I can't tell you enough just how fun it is to be able to get everybody on board at the same time. That's a pretty unique experience in board gaming. So often, there's always the person who's winning that's having a good time more than likely, and then there's the people who are lagging behind and not having as much of a good time. You're not going to have that in this game.
Yeah.
This is going to be one that everybody is going to have a good time with, and each round is a fun experience, and just figuring out who you are and then if you are the catch, figuring out who everyone else is.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool thing with this game. So you mentioned that we did get to play this at 2 players, and I feel like the 2-player game is still the same idea.
It feels like a different game, though.
It feels like a different game, and not that it's a bad thing by any means. I think it's a very it's a more strategic game, kind of, with a 2-player game, whereas the 3 to 6 players is more of a party experience.
Yeah. I hate to say party game, but it's the enjoyment that you get out of a party game.
Definitely party-like type experience. So, but yeah, you got 2 great games here with this one, the 2-player version and then the 3 to 6 player version. I've played it at 2, 3, 4, and 6 players. I think it's great across the board. Wonderful experience with this one. The game moves quick. The turns are quick. You've got 2 choices to make on your turn, and they're both interesting choices. So really like this one. I thought it was a blast. So I'm excited to see it out there and for you guys to check it out. That is Lady's Choice, Jon Chambers. It's on Kickstarter. Check out that link down below in the description of the video.
Make sure to like and subscribe and push that bell button so you get notifications of all our new content.
I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate, where we try to bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. We'll catch you next time.